Good morning. As I was driving, dropping my daughter off this morning, something came to my mind, and I'm just wondering why we as a whole, the church people, do not speak on DMV within the church world. And if some of you don't know what DMV is, just look up what is this month. This is National DMV Month. But I was wondering why we as a whole, like I said, the church people don't talk about, DMV in the church realm, because it does happen. Whether it's verbal or physical, it happens. And then when it does happen, how do you handle it? What do you do? And I know a lot of people will say you pray and you ask God for help and guidance. And yes, that is true. You pray to God and you ask God for help and guidance. And but you have to do more than that physically here on earth. God, yes, he did give you, 5 senses. And then some say, of course, with women, we have that 6th sense. But I think it needs to be talked about more in churches. When DMV goes on within the home, whether it be with the adults or with the children, is if it's verbal, what do you do? If it's physical, what do you do? Where do you go? Who do you talk to? And no, I'm not with that. What goes on in the house stays in the house. I'm not with that as far as that. DMV, no. No, I'm not with that. Do you go out and go tell the whole world? No, you don't. You don't go out there and get to blast and tell the whole world what's going on in your home. But you do go, because a lot of people out here in this world, they don't care. They don't care to hear anything about what's going on in your home. They may act interested, but it's only just so they can get the juice, get the dirt, and then they can go spread it. Or they're hoping that you get to beat down. They're hoping that something bad happens to you because they're jealous. They've been jealous the whole entire time. I've had that happen. I went to go talk to somebody that I thought cared about me, wanted to help me during some certain situations, and all they did was, oh my goodness, they really, they wanted details and everything, and I'm thinking it's out of concern to give me some kind of solution and some resolution to this whole thing. And no, it was just to get all the information they could to go spread.
New text message from Honey.
But that's crazy. It's not right. It is not fair. But I know life is not fair. But you got people out here like that. But in this church realm, where do we go? Where do you go to? That's what a lot of people need to talk about. Not just be sitting up in church. And yes, you go through the books of the Bible. And it's plenty of stories throughout the Bible that discuss these things. But let's bring it forward. Bring it now to the future. Bring it to 2022. What do we do? Where do we go from here? A lot of resources that we have now, they didn't have back then. But they have a lot of resources now. And mindsets, what do you do? Where do you go? Have these sessions, have these discussions, have these talks. It can avoid a lot of this different things. Next thing you know, on the news, Pastor so-and-so and his wife, due to, DMV, they're no longer in the land of the living. Or she's no longer in the land of the living. He's no longer in the land of the living. Come on. We need to have these discussions. Yes, I know that a lot of people like to put on a big front. They're smiling and cheesing. everything is okay, everything is all right, nothing's wrong over here, nothing to see here. Yeah, okay, you may not want to go tell everybody. You may not want to put all your business in the street, like I said, but you need to talk to somebody. They need to have these discussions in churches for these young couples and older couples as well. They need to have these discussions. Talk about these things. Get this stuff out here. Yeah, they may not be discussing it and talking about it with you during this session, but guess what? They're listening. They're getting ideas. It might be communication. Some people might be, they just like, poking and picking at you or whatever it may be. They're listening though. Some people might be taking notes, but you never know who you're gonna grasp with this unless you have these discussions. Go talk to somebody, have this. You know what you could do a little small survey. You can pass out little survey cards or whatever throughout, the church session or whatever toward the end, and just have them drop it anonymously in the little box, and then let's see, how many people want to have this discussion. They don't have to put their name on it. Just drop it in the box what they would like the topics to be on, and just have these discussions. It needs to be done. It needs to be done. Long time ago when we were teenagers, they didn't really truly talk about these things. And if they did, it was only for a short period of time. And then they cut and then just move on to the next subject. Let's have these discussions. Have these sessions. It don't have to be Sunday morning service. It could be on a Tuesday night or a Wednesday night. And it's only for the adults, not the children. Have someone around. Some of your staff people go around, have the children in the back, doing activities and doing things with the children so the adults can have their time. We need to talk and we need to discuss these things. We need to talk these things out and come up. Like I said, you never know. You can have a resolution or a solution right there in the church and you don't even know anything about it. A lot of these churches have psychiatrists, they have counselors, they have nurses, doctors, lawyers. We can come up with solutions that could possibly help one another. But we never know unless we try. We never know unless we have these discussions. DMV, it happens throughout the church as well as the outside realm, as they call it. It's not just, as some people say, just the sinners. Saints have these problems too. Get out there, get the help, and bring the discussions to the church.